Good morning, 819S. Another beautiful day. It is 23 degrees outside right now with the high of 26, I believe, today. This week should be nice. Every day should be warm. I think the high is getting up to 28 or 29 sometime this week, depending on the weather forecast you check. Definitely beautiful. Today, I'd like to talk about touring. Touring in Japan is fantastic. The deeper into the countryside you get, typically the less traffic there is. It also depends on where you want to go when you go touring too. Do you want to go to big tourist spots? Do you want to go to big cities? But I think, anyways, you'll have a great time no matter where you go. My idea today is kind of some tips about how to make the best of going out on a day trip or a road trip, and talk about the pros and cons of some choices too. So first thing is planning your trip. I'm a fan of both planning and not planning. My honest advice though is to plan a few key points for a trip. If you know you want to go to Hakone, look for one or two places in Hakone that you want to visit. Do you want to see the Hakone skyline or something like that? Finding out what kind of food is popular in the local area. Look for any popular restaurants or cafes, something like that. Is there anything unique or interesting in the area? Guidebooks are definitely one way to do that. But I think the guidebooks tend to focus on places that are the more like tourist trap type areas, which, don't get me wrong, there's definitely something nice or fun about those. But I think getting a little bit more off the beaten path is usually a little bit nicer. And those tend to be more chains or established restaurants. So I think finding a place that maybe is new or local or independent, asking local people what's good is also nice. One tip that I learned when I first came to Japan, it's not not always completely accurate, but it tends to work most of the time. They said if you want to, wow, what is that dude doing? That was surprising. Where was I? One tip I wanted to say is if you go past a restaurant and it's filled, like if there's tons of cars there's tons of people there, it's probably a good restaurant, especially if it's filled with what Japanese say salarymen. If there's a lot of business people there eating, it's probably fairly reasonable. The price is probably fairly reasonable, and the taste is probably good. If you go past a restaurant and there are zero customers in there, then maybe it's either expensive or it's not that delicious. Again, doesn't apply to 100% of situations, but it was advice that was given to me when I first came to Japan, and it seemed to work for me through my time here. Another thing is following a plan. I think some people overplan and some people underplan. If you do make a plan, like I said, find some key points and find approximate time durations between the place where you're starting and how to get to that destination. Saying I want to be here at 5:06 and I want to be here at 5:32 and something like that is a little too strict. The other thing with making a plan, especially a list of activities or places to go, is be flexible. So if you go somewhere and it ends up being closed, or you spent a little bit more time here and you can't go to the next place, just roll with it. It's fine. It's usually not the end of the world, right? Gives you a chance to go touring out to that place again another day. Those are some things that that just right off the top of my head that come to mind. When I first started riding, I said, I want to go here and I want to visit this place, this place, this place, and this place. And then, I had so much fun at the first one that I got kind of disappointed or frustrated that I couldn't go to the other ones. And then same thing with the timetable, is to make sure you know when places open and close. I think depends on where you're coming from, what country you're coming from. Open and closing time can be vastly different, and timetables can be a little strange or unpredictable from time to time. The restaurant that I ate at when I first lived in Kagawa Prefecture was open for lunch from, I want to say, 9:30 to 12:30, something like that. It was really short, or not, 10 to 1. And then at 1 o'clock they closed. And then after that they opened again at like 4 o'clock or 4:30 for dinner, and then they closed at like 7 o'clock. So my lunchtime was at 1 o'clock, and I'd go to this restaurant and I'm like, oh, they're closed. Why are they closed? It's lunchtime. Especially when you get to the countryside, operating hours can be completely different from what you may expect or anticipate. And the same goes true for gas stations. The same holds true for gas stations. I always assume that, gas stations operate most of the time, and in the afternoon and in the evening, and a lot of gas stations tend to be 24 hours. But the deeper into the countryside you get, the less likely that is. So bringing a gas bottle for backup is a good idea, but that also comes with its own downsides. Filling a gas bottle in Japan by yourself is illegal. If you do take a gas can or a gas bottle to the gas station and you attempt to fill it yourself, they may call the police on you, so you should really, really be careful about that. I'm not sure exactly what the punishment is, but yeah, make sure you have a full tank of gas. And if you're going really far, really, really far from where your home is, or where you're headed back to for that day, make sure you have enough gas in the tank to get there. I think as the evening starts to set in, if you do see a gas station, just fill up again. It's definitely good advice. I met Kansai Rider a few years ago. We went for a ride. He showed me around Wakayama, and it was great. We had so much fun. But both of us almost ran out of gas in the middle of the mountains. We had just enough to get us, both of us had just enough to get us to the gas station safely. But I won't forget that day. It was so much fun. And even though we were both running out of gas, we both still kind of rode mildly aggressively. We didn't ride more conservatively to try to save gas. So yeah, or I guess I shouldn't speak for him. For me, I was still riding mildly aggressively. Maybe he was riding conservatively, but yeah, it was a blast. But he's one of the people who said, be careful when you're in this area. The gas stations might close early. They might not even be open on some days. And then with my experience riding around Tokyo, Kanagawa, Chiba, stuff like that, that wasn't really the case as much. But again, the deeper you get into the countryside, the more likelihood that the gas station will be closed. Japan is also great because every prefecture, every city, every area tends to have a local specialty. There tends to be something unique and special about that place. Whether it be a food or a sightseeing place or something culturally relevant or something like that. Oh, today I'm wearing my gloves. There's always something interesting in each place. So just a little bit of research online. Maybe look for some other vloggers or bloggers who wrote about the area. That can give you a little bit of insight into the town. Maybe even ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm headed to XYZ city in ABC Prefecture. What is it famous for? You might be able to find out, Nagoya, it's famous for miso katsu, and these restaurants are considered the best, right? So yeah, a little bit of planning, a little bit of preparation definitely goes a long way. Wow, that must have been custom, right? That K-van. Another one is, I just mentioned my gloves, so another one is gear. Make sure you're wearing the right gear for the day. I think obviously gloves are one of the big ones, and a helmet obviously you need to wear. If you're riding a 125 or smaller, you can get away with not as protective helmets. It's a weird way to say it, but those kind of half helmets, skull caps, ones that just cover the side of your ear but offer no face or chin protection. Those typically have a sticker on the back of them that says for use of up to 125cc motorcycles. I probably wouldn't trust wearing them on a bigger bike if you're riding a 250 or something like that. I definitely don't recommend something like that. For me, something with a chin strap is definitely the way to go. Chin bar. And if you prefer full face, I think that's definitely the way to go too. Summers get super hot. You're talking temperatures over 28, maybe up to 30, 33, 34 in some cases. It can get pretty hot, so make sure you're wearing something that has good airflow. I recommend riding jackets, something with protectors. I know there's a debate online, especially after the Fortnite video, as to whether protectors actually do anything. I think abrasion resistant gear and something with protectors is definitely the way to go. You don't need to spend a fortune on stuff either. There's a shop called Workman. Workman is a really nice place. They offer protective gear at reasonable prices. Workman, as the name implies, is meant for like construction workers and people like that. In fact, these gloves that I'm wearing now are not specifically motorcycle gloves. These are workers' gloves. They're real leather. They seem to be pretty sturdy and stable. There's a little bit of mesh on the back, so they breathe. There's no running the red light. There you go. There's no knuckle guards or any other specific motorcycle protection on them. But I think, hopefully, I never crash. I think in a get-off, I would end up protecting my hands a lot with these gloves. So, I think they were like 1,000 yen. You can sometimes find them on sale. There's a bunch of different varieties available. And Workman also has motorcycle-specific jackets. I'm not sure if they have pants. I think that they do. But they have jackets that have protectors in them. They have mesh jackets. And I think the mesh jackets are also interesting because mesh in general will provide you a little bit of UV protection and still allow the wind to flow through. So if you're riding on a really hot sunny day, your skin will be slightly protected from the UV. And as you're moving like an air-cooled engine, the air will flow through the jacket, so give you a little bit of comfort as you're riding. Yeah, and then speaking of that, UV can be pretty strong in Japan. I think, again, UV depends on where you are in the world. Some places it's a little bit more intense than other places, but in Japan it tends to be pretty strong. So I think putting on some sunscreen is definitely good. Throwing some sunscreen on your neck is definitely good. Yeah. Planning and preparation, I think those are the key terms. Making sure you have the right gear for a return trip is also good. If you expect rain, make sure you pack your raincoat. There's some good apps that I'll talk about in a future ride to work that can help with weather and trip planning and stuff like that. So I think using a weather app to see how the weather will be in the area, they can typically give reasonably accurate weather forecasts for up to 12 hours, especially when as rain is concerned. Yeah, make sure you have some gear, and then if you are riding in a rainy situation and you have some backup gear, Keeping a secondary pair of gloves or something like that in a bike bag, that works, definitely. Keeping an extra pair of socks or putting some plastic bags that you can throw over your feet so keep your feet warm or dry. Yeah, there's a lot of little tips you can do to end up to keep yourself safe, to end up having a better experience, is I think what I wanted to say there. And try to find places you've never been to before. I think that's definitely one good thing. Just playing with Google Maps, zooming into different areas, some little random pins appear from time to time. I found some funny things like a Godzilla slide in Yokosuka, south of Yokosuka. Yeah, just go to places that don't seem to be... Oh, I'm safe. Yellow. Okay. So go to places that don't seem to be the main attraction of a town. Sometimes there's a lot of natural beauty there that you might otherwise miss if no one has recommended it. And then in an earlier video, I said, do you need Japanese to ride in Japan? I don't think so, but I think it definitely helps. And if you do have some Japanese speaking ability or communication ability, talk to the local people when you get to a place. Say, hey, I'm here from America, or I'm here from Tokyo. I'm going to spend the next few hours around here. I don't know anything that's specifically or particularly good. Do you have any specific recommendations? And I think a lot of local people will be willing to help you. You might just get some people going, I don't know, which is fine too. But yeah, finding out what local people like can give you a better feel for what the area is like. I hope some of those tips were useful and helpful. I will talk about apps that you can use for weather or trip planning or other things a little bit more in the future. And yeah, knowing your bike, knowing the capacity, paying attention to fuel, making a basic plan, finding out what's special at the area, those things definitely go a long way. One of my regrets, and I think the word regret is a pretty strong word, but one of my regrets is that when I went touring, I usually would go to chain places. I'd go to 7-Eleven and get a sandwich for lunch. When in Utsunomiya, I probably should have got some gyoza for lunch. When I went to Southern Izu, I probably should have got wasabi don for lunch or something like that. So I tend to stick to what I know, especially when it comes to food, but I do regret not branching out a little bit more. In the future, I definitely plan to try the local restaurants. When I go with Japanese friends, we typically end up going to local restaurants or something special, because Japanese people love food and they're typically so interested in what the local dishes are and the difference between the local dish and what they're familiar with. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you have a topic for a next video or future video, definitely leave that in the comment section too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe.